Hey y'all, this is SippRH23. I'm going to make a quick video about some quick tips for Ashe for rank and casuals. Ashe is probably one of my go-to front lines when I'm doing rank games. So, I'm just going to give you a few tips here and hopefully you get a little bit better with Ashe. So I'm getting started with the abilities on Ashe and when the best to use them and what I think how they should be used. Not everybody's going to agree with me, but this is how I usually use them. I'm just going to start with the legendaries here, is what I call them. Battling Ram is always my first pick. Their damage reduction is huge. There's no way to really counter that damage reduction unless you get CC during your dash. But the 90% damage reduction is huge when you need to get out of a sticky situation real quick. And not take a whole lot of damage. So always good to go across the map with this shoulder bash while not taking any damage really, or retreat back to your support to get some healing, then go back in and kind of repeat the process. Slugshot I really don't use in ranked games at all. It's a big risk to me, I think, because you don't have that damage reduction and you don't have that right word is called like AoE effect with your original Slugshot, and not to be able to spread Cauterize effectively. Moving to Fortress Breaker, it is helpful at the beginning of the matches, but it has 3,000% more health. It has and is 50% larger, and it moves 80% slower. So the thing about this one is it's good at the beginning of the map, beginning of the match, but it's gonna die off once the enemy team gets Wrecker, and it's not going to be as much value as Battering Ram in the late game, because you can't really counter damage reduction without a stun here. So that's why I prefer Battling Ram over this Fortress Breaker. So Burst Cannon, just your shot. The thing about this one is, even if you can't see the enemy, you can still do the AoE dealing 400 damage and can still apply that Cauterize behind walls and above. Even if someone has a shield up, if you aim a little bit higher than their shield and it bursts right behind them, they'll still get that Cauterize on them and won't be able to heal. So that's huge. So when you're facing like a Khan or a Fernando or anybody with a shield, it's up. If you aim it right above it and it bursts behind them, it still applies the Cauterize and it still won't be able to heal. So you can still keep the pressure on them even when their shield's up. Connect Burst, this one you have to, so the thing is, when you do this, make sure you at least have one round left, because there'll be times where you keep on shooting and you want to do a kinetic burst and you have to reload before you use it, and it'll take a longer time to do so and you'll just be exposed. But this is awesome for if you want to get some separation from the other front lines, the other team, or try to get an environmental kill, or try to put an enemy in a bad situation, trying to put them in the middle of your whole entire group so you can focus down that one enemy. So good area control. It's easily countered by resiliency. So once they get more resiliency, it's going to be less effective during the in-game. Shoulder bash. So thing about this one, you can use it in different situations. You could use it to finish off an enemy. It does 800 damage. So say you got a squishy, you got a Genos, you shoulder bash. If you hit him once with the full burst cannon, 400 damage, and then hit him with a shoulder bash, then follow up with another burst cannon, that's 1600 damage. Genos is almost down if you want to try to burst him down like that. Otherwise, the other purpose, what I use shoulder bash mostly, is an escape with that damage reduction thanks to Battling Ram. You're going to get out not taking much damage and get to a safe area as long as no one CCs you or gets in your dash way. So you gotta watch out for that. Make sure you got enough space, because I think it takes about like a second for the dash to activate after you press F. So gotta keep an eye out for that. Siege Shield, I use this usually when I'm trying to push a lot, when I'm pushing, I try to play around with it. Like if they're trying to get around my shield, I try to play around my shield and for those 6 seconds go in between my shield, in front of it, all that. If they're trying to get me out of my position, all that, and trying to just use my shield to my advantage most as I can is, and just play around it really. Then assert dominance is your ultimate. So you could use this to contest the point when things aren't looking good and just zone them off and stun them and finish off some kills. Or you can use this push where you can solo ult their support and make sure you get one great kill and kind of push them back with this ult while you're in that area for 8 seconds. That's your zone. You can use it however you want to. How I use it is make sure, I usually like to try ult and make sure I get someone stunned and focus on them first and focus them down as much as I can, and then just push back the tanks, push back the damage, and get some pressure off of my other teammates behind me is the best way I would use this ultimate for myself. It's going to help you with your sustain. Beginning of the game, it's going to fall off a little bit once they start getting cauterized. But also you're going to get every shot you put out, you're going to get 200 health if they have no cauterize, then kind of decreases once they get more cauterized, but it just helps out with your sustain and staying in the fight longer. Connect burst, just for that, usually you want to play Ashe as an off tank, so this just helps you push them back, keep them away from the point, keep them away from your your team and all that. Also, moving on to this gate crusher, just reduce the cooldown on your shoulder bash so you have it sooner in case you need to get out of a sticky situation. It's always best to put at least 1 or 2 points in this card when you're running that talent to decrease damage taken during your dash. And this is kind of like my filler card, just increase my ammo count by 1, because I always have a habit of just running out of ammo before I actually need it. So if I needed to do my knockback, it seems like I'm always one short, so this helps me eliminate that problem for me personally. And last thing I want to mention here is what you get when you buy in the store during the game. So usually you want to max out your cauterize first. Usually I like to get cauterized 2 during the first round, and then depending on how the game's going, if it seems like we're in control, I might buy 1 morale boost. If things are kind of like not in our control and I feel like it's a tough match and we're not getting much pressure, I'll probably go rejuve or resiliency, just to help out, so I'm not getting more healing done, I'm not getting CC'd a whole lot. And then after that, I'll probably finish out my cauterize, get caught 3, and then after I get the caught 3, I'll probably finish out getting that rejuve or resiliency, get resiliency 2, because the resiliency 3 ain't gonna, for the amount you have to spend, it's not a whole much value, but that rejuve 3 is a lot of value, so you want to max that out. And then if it goes in the late game, you got your caught max, you got your rejuve max, you got resiliency 2, and you can put some points into morale boost, get morale boost 1 and 2, so you can just keep on ulting, get those stuns, have that 8 seconds of damage immunity. And thing is, you gotta look out, since you got resiliency 2 by in-game, when you ult, you won't be getting thrown off of your ult area, so you stay in that area, damage immune for 8 seconds, and just providing that huge value for your team. So that's kind of just my overall general advice, tips for Ashe and how I play Ashe. This video didn't contain any gameplays, I just want to kind of talk about it and what kind of how I use Ashe and what I'm thinking about when I'm buying items, my talents, my loadouts, and kind of give you all an overview of what I use for Ashe. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to see some Ash gameplay. I always stream on Twitch. You can follow me there. Links are in the description down below. And make sure you like and sub if you watched this and you enjoyed it. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I'll love to answer them. And y'all have a great day.